Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase we're going to be looking at a Japanese exclusive Star Saber. I've been wanting to do this video for absolutely ages. It's really taken a long time to try and set up, and I still can't manage to fit everything in, and I really want to do this figure justice. It's absolutely spectacular. It's got so many modes, it's got so many gimmicks, and I just think it looks fantastic. So I really hope that I can do this figure some justice for you guys right now if you've never seen it. So it came out in 1989 and it was released as part of the Victory wave of figures. Victory was a cartoon that was running in Japan at the same time, and this guy, funnily enough, for those of you who don't know, was the Autobot leader at the time, or Cybertron's leader as he was known. So again, huge figure with all the Autobot leaders in Japan, and here's just a quick comparison. There's an original Generation 1 Optimus Prime, just about up to his hips, and for the newer collectors, here is a Siege. Let me just move the jet out of the way. A Siege sideswipe. Is he going to stand? Yep. So yeah, just under his crotch, so you can see just how big he is. Granted, he is pretty much all plastic, and a lot of the original first, obviously, Generation 1 figures were made of die cast. So some people might look at that as a negative, but for me, I can't say anything negative about this figure. It's just, yeah, you can probably tell, hopefully you can tell by how enthusiastic I am about it, that it is amazing. And if this would have come out in everywhere else around the world, I think that the popularity of Transformers might not have waned at all, towards the very late 80s into the early 90s. It's just spectacular in every single way. So let's have a look at some of the modes. So you can tell that this, with the things that I've got out in front of you, it's a couple of things combined together. And as with most of the Japanese leaders and things, they turned them into play sets and they made them so play-worthy. You can do so many different modes. This is a jet mode in its own right. As you can see, it does look quite impressive, to be fair. The white on it is obviously something really to look out for. It doesn't look greatest if it's sun faded, and stickers as well. It does all slot and clip in together. I'm going to show you some of the transformations, but I'm sure hopefully you guys, some of you appreciate that I'm not going to do all of them on camera. Very nervy. So what we've got under here, we've got the landing gear, which is the shoulder pads at the top there. This is actually comes off. This is one of the guns that comes with him. And while we're here, I'll show you some of the other accessories as well. So you've got, I'll take this, in fact I'll take it out of his hand, the main guy's hand. So you've got, these are two separate things. You've got a lovely chrome sword. Obviously you've got to be aware that that's nice and shiny still. And then this is obviously the front of the smaller jet, but it also doubles up if you put the lever at the side there to what I'll show you in a second to be like a shield for the smaller robot. And of course, as you can see, it's a nose cone to the jet, and it's a huge sword for the large robot. So it's, again, even that piece is very versatile just by itself. The sun damage I was on about, if I just show you before we go into another mode, the difference, that unfortunately this one is the one I got the other week, mainly to do this video, actually, to say mainly to do this figure some justice for you, so you can see how good it is. It's really apparent when it's not bright white. So funnily enough, I'm just going to move the larger jet out of the way, and I'm going to bring it back up, and I've transformed it into what's known as a base mode. It does pretty much look like a base. You can't really see it. Let me just move. Again, this figure's so big and I'm trying to get it all on camera for you. So we've got a base there. You can see, unfortunately, that this is not the greatest condition Star Saber, but for this video hopefully it'll serve the purpose. Something else you can point out, be aware if you're looking to get a really good one, that's got the little gun on the top, whereas this one's snapped off, and there, yeah, it's these just on the back, on the tip of his shoulders there. So this is folded up into the lesser known, as it is actually known as, a base mode. I'm going to keep it in that mode for now, because what we've got here is we've got this smaller jet, and this also has a cockpit as well. Here's another crazy gimmick that comes with it, and here is the pilot, and he's actually known as a brain master, and I'm going to show you exactly why and how that works in a second. But there is the jet mode, and I'm going to keep that there. I've got one already ready to the side of me here, which doesn't have the nose cone on. So there's a yellow button here which you can press, and then you can slot out the legs. We can fold back the tail fins. We can turn this round. We can fold back the wings there, and then we can bring the arms up. So, very simple transformations, but there is now. Oh, and of course we can fold out the hands. And what we've got here, you can see again just how much the white does make a difference. That's really, I'm quite lucky that it's bone white, so it looks very good. So of course he's missing his face, and this was a gimmick that was later used in the European line in the early 90s, but it was first, say, 1989 Japanese. You can hear that just click there, so the legs was right in place. Japanese gimmick known as a Brainmaster. So here is the little Brainmaster guy, and watch this. If I press him down carefully, you can see a face start to appear there. So if I pop him in the chest, I'm hoping this is going to work, because with a lot of these figures I don't actually play with or transform themselves. I've popped him in there ready, and nearly, there we go. That is how the Brainmaster gimmick worked. So not only is a pilot, but he's also the main face. It's a bit like obviously a headmaster, but I suppose just a different way of doing it. And you can see there, funnily enough, with these being so stiff and unused, that his legs have stayed in place. If I pop it down, there's the small head. Let's do it again. Bang. There we go. So there he is in his smaller robot mode. We can now lift his arm up. We can take this particular, in fact, where's the big one? We'll take the gun off the jet behind us, pop it in here, and he can now stand behind there. Yes, and he stood as well. So there you go. I'm going to lift this up very quickly just so you can have a look. He's standing behind there, and that is the base mode. So as I say, that is one of the modes that you can display him in. Now we're going to get to some of the more complicated things, and I'm going to do them off camera. But before we do that, I want to show you some of the packaging, purely because, again, I'm lucky enough to have two totally different types. This was the first release packaging, so these came out pretty much the same time. This one was just released that fraction earlier, and this is the horizontal box. So the artwork for Star Saber is still the same. There's a picture there of the ginormous jet, which I'm going to be combining in a second, and there's also the picture of the two combining to make obviously the larger Star Saber actual figure itself, which you can see there. You can also see there's another mode there, which I might as well do very quickly. If I pull this base mode down, he can of course command the jet base mode as well. There, I can bend his legs and he can stand behind that. Just an abundance of modes. It's just so clever. And then if we spin it round, you've got the artwork showing, again, there's the large jet you're going to be seeing in a second. If I just open this, this is where the collector's card was. The original owner of this has took that away. I'll show you it on the other box in a second. There is the victory artwork. So you've got Star Saber there, Decepticon leader Desirus, and you've got, yeah, there's Dino King and Road Caesar and a few of the other Japanese exclusives there. And then of course all along the bottom there's the transformation process, large jet, small jet, base mode, another base mode, and huge robot mode. This is of course hasn't even mentioned the fact that it combines with Victory Leo yet either. So let me just see if I can open this. Yeah, this has got the robot points on this side, which I think is ingenious because it saves you cutting big holes out the back of the box. The only other thing is, and again some people might not know this, the main difference wasn't just the box. The first release figure, if I can show you in detail, had, where are we, it's this guy here. So you see the gold there, see these are stickers. And the second release, which came out, you know, not long after, it wasn't as if it was like 2 or 3 years after, it was very similar to it. It was gold chrome. So if you've got the two different boxes and you wonder what the differences are, that's the only two differences in the figure. They were released at the same time, but that's something that's, I suppose, a little geeky and something for you to look out for if you're after all particular variants. So this is the other box, and I can't even get this on screen. Oh, fantastic artwork there. There it is. You've got the fact here that it's showing you that the Brainmaster gimmick works. There's Star Saber himself. There's the giant jet mode I am going to be showing you in a second. I'm going to fold the top flap out now, and brilliant, there we go. This guy, there's the little fact file, and of course there is his collector's card. And funnily enough, the guy on this hasn't took the robot points off this one either, because the bottom of it is still sealed. So we'll turn it around. There again is that lovely battle scene. There is the robot modes, the abundance of the ones that you've got. And again, they're still not alluding to the fact that you can combine him with Victory Leo, which of course I will be showing you in a second. So what I'm going to do now, purely because I don't want to damage and break any of these, and it's going to take me quite an age to do it, I'm going to be transforming these, combining them into the large super jet and into Victory Saber for you. So I'm coming straight back to you guys. Okay then, so we're back and we've done a couple of the transformations off camera unfortunately, but I'm going to show you the most important bits in a second so you can see them. Before we go to that, I just want to quickly go back to this little figure here. I did mention that obviously the nose cone of the jet can become a shield, and I forgot to show you that, so I'm going to do that right now. So you can attach that there, and then the gun that as well he can carry in his smaller robot mode. So there he is in their modes. And then the other thing as well I didn't show you is how the pilot can fit in there, so I'm going to do that right now again. So I'll take the shield off, I'll take the gun off, and of course I'll take the Brainmaster out of his chest. So the cockpit actually does even lift up like so. You fold the legs up on the Brainmaster, and then of course he can sit inside there. Ooh, sit him up straight, that's better, and he clicks into place and that clips in there. You can then of course take the gun and pop it on the side. So now just to give you an idea of how big the super jet is, there it is combined to there. Here is Scourge, that's a G1 Scourge next to it, and it's what, 2.5, nearly 3 Scourges. It's absolutely huge. Excuse me, losing my voice. And then there's actually even another way which I'm going to show you in a second. So that's its super jet. I'm going to pop it there. Now of course we've got the combined robot mode. I said I'd come back to him in quite a bit more detail. So if I fold this up, and I'm going to bring this right in front of the camera. So of course this time, obviously on there the jet is folded out and it's at the front like so. Whereas with this one, the jet is folded up into, in fact, here we go, look, I've got this one here. I've got a war-torn one, so I can show you this. So I can put his arms back in there. So for the actual jet, all you do is you press this button in, and then that's going to click into the back of the blue. But whereas for the massive robot mode, you can bring it out and you fold it round, and there is the chest part. So this is going to slot in to the main cavity there. And then here's the amazing bit, and if you watch the Japanese cartoon, you'll have seen this loads of times. Here comes the large head over the top, push it down, click it into place. I need to do that again. Right, there we go. I need to bring it over, push it down, click, and then everything comes into place. So there is the large robot Star Saber mode. Again, this is just Star Saber himself, whereas the large jet, of course, the sword can't be carried by the smaller robot. It will go back into this, into the front, and then into the large robot's hand. So we've got, these are pretty much all the modes that you can see now that Star Saber himself can do. However, with the Japanese, you know, not just stopping there, and they want to really make the figure amazing. I've done the Victory Leo, excuse me, I've done the Victory Leo video, and you'll have seen that this guy, Victory Leo, oh, here he comes, combines with these as well. So not only will he, I'll come back in a second and show you him combined with the robot to make a large robot, I'll also come back and I'll show you Victory Leo combined with this jet to give you a huge jet. So we're still not done. Hoping you're still watching, because again, amazing figure, so many modes. We're going to come back now and you're going to see him combined into Victory Saber and the Victory Saber power jet. Okay, so we've come back and this is the final part of the video and the final part of the showcase of Star Saber. And what you can see is the combined form of Star Saber on the left and Victory Leo on the right. And this figure is known as Victory Saber, and it's just, again, truly spectacular. To give you an idea of how big he is, I'm going to show you some size comparisons in a minute, but it is officially the second largest figure of the entire Generation 1 range of toys. So obviously Fortress Maximus was the biggest, and this guy comes in at second, not even a close second. He's, you know, head and shoulders literally above most. To give you an idea, there is Generation 1 Optimus Prime. There again is the Deluxe Siege Sideswipe, which you can see, you know, kneecap sort of height. And then to give you, I suppose, a true representation for the newer collectors out there, here is, I think it's Commander class as he's known as, Siege Jetfire. And if I stand him up there without knocking everything over, yeah, he's about his shoulder height. So that gives you an idea of just, I suppose, the enormity of the figure. I'm going to not go into too much detail, because I am going to be doing a Victory Saber video by itself. I've already done a Victory Leo, and the reason why I'm going to be splitting it into the 3 individual parts is because you might just want to watch one on each individual one. You don't want to go through a whole huge video just to see them all. So let me just take this down, because again, with Takara being the way they are, this is just one of the way that they can combine. And again, it is very, very impressive. It is the way that I always choose to have him on display on my Japanese shelf figures. Let me just move this giant guy. Again, not going to go into too much detail, but you can tell obviously that most of Victory Leo is in his feet and on the backpack of him. And if I just bring him down a little bit closer, you can see that he's got, as I say, Victory Leo's Arsenal on him there. And with the bright whites, he just looks, again, spectacular. Now, carefully if I can, he's at the back. They also combine into an enormous jet. And I measured this guy, and this is over 50 centimetres, so it's over ½ a metre. You can't even really tell there. I'm going to pick it up to try and give you an idea of just how big it is. Can I even show this on screen? Right, there we go. So again, so we've got a bit of Victory Leo at the back. We've got Star Saber there. I've got an idea if I can sort of balance it at an angle. I can't even lift it up. That's how big it is. Bear with me a second. I'm going to try and give you a much better idea of how big this is. Here we go again. We've got Generation 1 Scourge at the front. 1, 2, he's over 3, as I say, 3 full lengths of Scourge. If I can find you a way to see just how big this is. So of course we've now got most of Victory Leo at the back, but I'm hoping that you can see this. I'm going to double check myself. If I have to retake or add something at the end so you can see it, I will do, just so you can see just again the enormity of it. So there's Star Saber at the front with the weapons, and then of course we've got all of Victory Leo's on at the back, and these do all clip together as well. So amazing figures, typically Japanese exclusives. As I say, I don't know if I said at the beginning of the video, it seems so long ago. This has took me about 3 days of prepping and setting up, but if they'd have had these figures when they came out in 1989, when I was still collecting, I can pretty much wholeheartedly 100% say that my interest would not have waned at all. I've got an idea while I'm doing this. I've got an idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to balance this guy on the bottom shelf so you can see him all in his, I say bottom shelf, it is just steps. It is just steps. There we go, it's worked. Right, unbelievable. So here we go, just before we round off, there he is. There is the Victory Saber jet, and this connects into the back of Star Saber there, and on the other side. And again, it's huge. So there's the 2 ways to do it. Obviously you need both figures with this, but I'm sure you'll agree with all the ones that you've seen. Star Saber, from his small robot to his large robot to his small jet to his combined jet, you know, just all of it. It's just fantastic. Again, let's just round this off then. Hopefully I've done these figures some justice for you. I've been planning on doing this for ages. I know on my Instagram, if you haven't got my Instagram yet, it's toys_rruss. So I've been advertising this quite a bit, and I know there's quite a bit of, I don't want to say hype, but it's not as if I'm that big as a YouTuber yet, but there's a lot of interest, shall we say, in this figure, and this is probably the reason why. Just look at it, spectacular. So you've already got Victory Leo, you've now got Star Saber, and I'll be just sticking a bonus Victory Saber video up as well soon. So for everybody who's been interested in this, asked loads of questions, I hope I've managed to cover them all for you. I'm going to continue probably doing all of my Japanese figures again. I did a lot of them when I first started this channel, way back in, you know, late March, early April, with not the confidence I've got now, and then I suppose the know-how and the knowledge to get things set up. But I really do hope that I've done this figure justice. I really hope that you've enjoyed the video. Again, thank you for your likes, thank you for your comments. I do literally answer every single comment that's put down, so if you want to leave me any messages, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Here he is, as I say, Star Saber, 1989, Japanese exclusive from the Victory cartoon. One of my favourite figures. Take care, everybody.